Welcome to Mom's True Tea, the podcast where moms can spill the true tea on various thought-provoking topics and challenge beliefs about motherhood and life authentically, unapologetically, and without judgment. I'm your host, 𝐿_Williams. Who wakes up one day and says, you know what, I think I want to be a single mom today? For so many of us, the path to single motherhood isn't a decision we made consciously, nor is it our fault, as many would like to say. But who wants to be left alone to be solely responsible for always being the only one trying to figure out how to fix broken pieces, how to survive instead of thriving, or just be responsible for children all alone and the responsibilities that come with that with no support from the other parent? Yet, so many women are finding themselves in this position, becoming single moms by force and not by choice. As usual, I am here to speak the authentic and unfiltered truth about motherhood, so let's talk about it. I know, here goes the you should have made better choices than men, or you're not being accountable for your choices, or you should have kept your legs closed, or you shouldn't have had any kids. But sometimes becoming a single mom is something that just simply happens. It's not a linear experience. Sometimes it's unexpected, it's unplanned, and in most cases, it comes without warning. So I want to unpack that experience. I want to talk about the shock, the heartbreak, the resilience that you have to have, and the strength that it takes to get through being a single mom. Because let's be honest, sometimes the strongest choices are the ones we never planned to make. Let's get into a few reasons why some women are forced into single motherhood. It could be divorce, it could be abandonment or loss of a partner. Oh, and also being miserable, evil, and a petty baby mama. Let's not forget that. Single motherhood takes on an emotional toll on women that's not being acknowledged or even taken into consideration. Yet, others, they will always blame and judge single mothers instead of showing empathy or even supporting that single mom in any way. Even some of your girlfriends. I know you may not want to hear that, but sometimes when you're venting and having these conversations with some of your friends, girl, they're talking behind your back. They're judging. Trust me on that. But did you know that 47% of Black women are raising children in single parent homes? And there are 4.15 million single parent homes in the US alone. And it's not just Black women. So let's be clear on that. We just happen to be the larger percentage of having single parent homes. So if you're listening because you've walked this path as a single mother, know that you are not alone. And if you're here to understand what single moms go through, and I mean really understand without judgment, I hope this episode gives you a little bit more empathy and insight on what single motherhood looks like. So let's start with the story that many of us share, even if the details are different, because again, single motherhood is not linear. You may meet someone, because this goes to the people that say, oh, you chose wrong. But sometimes you meet someone, maybe it was love at first sight, or maybe it wasn't. You make a commitment to that person and you build a life. And for a while, everything seems like it's on the right track. It looks good. Y'all look good on paper. Y'all look good on the outside. Everybody on social media, your friends are saying your couple's goals. And you have children together. You make these plans. We have these holidays and birthdays, and we're always around people that love us and they look up to us. You envision a future where you're in this thing with that person forever and you're in it together. But then something happens. Maybe the relationship starts to slowly unravel. Maybe it's abusive. Maybe it's a single moment that changes everything, a betrayal, a sudden realization like, hey, this is not my person. Or even abandonment because this person is looking at you like you're no longer their person. Suddenly, all those plans that you had, they vanish in smoke. and everything changes. And there you are, left holding not only your own broken heart, but you're also carrying the weight of the hearts of your children, trying to fix pieces that you didn't break. Or, in my case, in one situation, you're a teenage girl, you're in a relationship, and you end up pregnant, but that father moves on while you are left to raise the child alone and with little to no support from them at all. Like they're not even present. Or you're in a toxic or abusive relationship. Again, my story. And you have to get out of that situation, not only for your own protection, but for the protection of your children. Then you're just not happy in the relationship for so many reasons, and you don't want to impact your kids, or you're trying to co-parent properly, but the other parent is not, whether it's on the father's side or the mother's side. And I know y'all gonna want to tussle, like I always say, but you're toxic, bitter, miserable, and you're a lonely ass baby mama. And because of your toxic behavior, you push the other parent away, or you force them to no longer want to be in the child's life because you have tried to manipulate and control the way they show up in their kids' lives. And then you also lie on the parent to try to turn the kids against that parent. So these are all some of the scenarios as to why women become single moms. There's so many scenarios. And again, they're not linear. They're very diverse. But just know, becoming a single mom by force isn't just about being left alone to parent. It's about facing the reality that what you thought was your future, it's suddenly gone. It's about figuring out how to put food on the table, how to explain to your kids why the other parent isn't around anymore, and how to somehow, some way, find a new version of not only yourself in all of this, but also how to parent alone. And let me tell you, that takes strength. It takes faith, and it takes resilience beyond anything you could ever imagine. But it's a strength that comes from deep within and from necessity. You become your own safety net, your own support system, because there isn't any other option. Nobody's coming to save you. And you know what? If I had $1 for every time someone said to me, "I don't know how you do it, girl," or "You are so strong," I would be rich. But the truth is, I do it because I had to. You don't want to always have to be strong, but you have no choice as a single mom. I didn't have time to sit around crying and waiting for an absent parent to show up or step in and give me the support or save me. I needed and deserved. I had to keep moving forward for my sons, and even more for me. Neither one of them, and when I say them, I mean the fathers of my children, they could never say I caused them drama or chased them down for anything. Once you're gone, and I knew I had to move forward, you no longer existed to me. If my children wanted to have a conversation and had questions, I was happy to answer. But because they really didn't until they became adults, I never discussed them because there was nothing to discuss. But by the grace of God, I made it happen. And it's not about being a superwoman or trying to come off as a superhero. It's about survival. It's about making sure for those kids who look up to you to see that they are safe and see your perseverance, even in your broken moments, and that they are thriving, even if you feel stuck, because that's what happens. There's so many times that I would go in my room at night and cry because I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to make ends meet, or how I'm going to buy grocery, or how I'm going to make sure I keep the lights on, and all these different things as a single mom that I went through in my past. And that is emotional toll constantly and consistently that single mothers feel and face. And then we see men walk away from their families or relationships and they move right on, yet they're rarely judged or held accountable for abandoning their children. But somehow the blame consistently falls on the mother. Mothers don't want to be the head of the household. Most of us want to live a soft life. But how can you when you've been forced into a dominant role to raise your child or children alone with very little support? This young lady reached out to me after seeing a podcast episode on YouTube, and she said, I'm struggling. I'm struggling with this, and thank you for your voice. She said, I feel like I'm more of a father figure to my children because I'm always having to hustle, make ends meet, be that dominant presence in their life, that disciplinarian, rule with strong force. But I don't feel like a mom who can be soft. And I had to really ponder that thing that she was saying. And I simply said to her, you are not a masculine figure to them. You've just had to take on a role that you were never designed to take on. But you are a mom, period. But I understood exactly what she was saying when there's no man in the household. Thank God I have an amazing husband now that has been in my son's lives for many, many years, and they take what they want to take. However, it's so hard when you're having to be the disciplinarian, the hustler, the strong one, even when you are so weak. But single moms are even held to blame, even when a child doesn't turn out the way you'd hoped or the way they were raised with morals, values, and love. Moms are always held to the fire and held to blame for anything that their child does, even if they're adult children, even your adult children, for any actions that they take. If they make bad choices, guess what? They're still going to look at you as a mom, and they could be grown. It doesn't even matter. And let's unpack even when women have a man in their home. Visibly, yes, he takes on that dominant head of the household role, but guess what? All of the responsibility and the wants of those children still falls on a mom. And let's talk about how Black women and single moms, we're always labeled as angry or having an attitude, but there's little to no consideration that we are simply exhausted. We're overstimulated at home. We're overstimulated at work. And it's not until we close our eyes at night that we get some semblance of peace, only to wake up and do the same thing, feel the same overstimulation over and over again the next day. You don't think that has a negative impact on our nervous systems or our mental well-being? It takes real strength to be a single mother. It's the hardest job you will ever have. And listen, I love my brothers who step in as parents, but you could never walk in the shoes of a single mother and handle it with some of the grace in which we do. It's not celebrated. Again, we're often judged. It's not glamorous. It's often a thankless job. Every day, single moms make a choice to keep pushing forward, being resourceful, resilient, loving, and often we don't even prioritize ourselves. As a matter of fact, sometimes we don't even know who the hell we are because we have lost our identities as just women. For every single mom out there listening who didn't choose this path, I see you and I celebrate you for finding the courage every single day to not give up, for finding ways to keep going even when it's hard or you feel stuck or alone. Single motherhood is not for the weak. You cannot be a punk and be a single mother. Hell, motherhood, period, ain't for the weak. But I see you, sis. And to those of you listening who haven't experienced this firsthand, my hope is that you walk away today with a better understanding of the weight that single moms carry and the incredible resilience we have. If you know a single mom in your life, take a moment to reach out to her and let her know she's not alone. Even if you are not a single mom and even if you don't understand, just offer some support, some empathy. Take her out to brunch. Just be like, hey, girl, I'm coming to grab you if you can get away from the kids, and we're just going to go hang out. To my fellow moms out there, whether you're alone by force or by choice or anything in between, please know that you are doing more than enough. You are more than enough, and you matter. We might not have chosen this journey, but most of us have made the best of it for ourselves and for our children, even if sometimes they're unappreciative of it. Just remember, you are that girl. Take it one day at a time and one breath at a time and one moment at a time. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm so blessed to have a community where I can show up as my most authentic self because I don't know what else to be. Don't forget to favorite the show, leave a review, and subscribe to the podcast on your favorite streaming platforms to stay up to date on new episodes. Subscribe to my newsletter at momstruetea.com. Follow us on all socials at MUMSTRUETEA, and be sure to share and stay tuned for more thought-provoking topics and real talk on Mom's True Tea with Kendall Lachey. Until next time, remember, you need you just as much as anyone else, so stop playing about you, okay?